Hi, if we've never met before, I am Dom. This is your hour flow and restore. It is such a pleasure to be here with you today. The way that the class is structured is that the first half of the class is for moving and shaking and getting things a little more mobile feeling. And the second half of the class is committed to our juicy, lovely restorative. So you kind of get both ends of the spectrum here in a really beautiful, well-rounded practice. That is why I have all of these blankets and pillows. So please, because we have a nice juicy amount of time for our restorative, don't be shy, collect as many blankets and pillows as you can, because the comfier we are, the better. So I'm going to start to take these off of my mat and just pop them out of the way. Please feel free to keep a blanket or so handy. I always feel like they're nice to keep on board if you want to protect your knees or anything like that. Yeah. Lots of blankets. It is a hopefully beautiful day for you wherever you are. It is a beautiful day here where I am, and that feels pretty good. So when you're ready, once you've sort of collected all of the things you want to collect, we're welcome to meet standing on your mat. We're going to start with a little bit of silliness today. So if you can start to shake your hands, you can maybe close your eyes if you'd like. Taking deep breaths in through your nose as you do so. Exhaling it out. Take those arms up overhead. Give them a shake, 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 shake. Bring them down. Let the shake come into your shoulders and your body and your legs. Maybe your feet start to shake as well. Maybe we start to kind of bounce up and down. Maybe moving through your hips. Let those arms come up overhead. And just sort of shake out anything that's been sitting in your body that's maybe not feeling fabulous, or if you have lots of fabulous stuff, taking that fabulous energy and spreading it all over. 2 more breaths, big breath in. Exhaling it out. 1 more time, breathe it in. And then as you exhale, start to let those shakes settle. Feeling your feet connecting down on the floor. Maybe there's a very subtle bit of a sway here. Maybe lifting up through those toes and then massaging them back down to the floor. Feeling this lifting and lowering of our feet, getting really nice and tactile, connected to the ground. When you're ready, taking a little pause, letting your hands land wherever feels most reasonable for you. And in celebration of how our feet are connected to the floor, recognizing that we may not be the indigenous folks to this land. And so sending for our practice a little bit of gratitude back into the earth, honoring and recognizing that there are those who have existed before us, and the roots and wisdom of the earth and its inhabitants run deeper than our understanding and our experience. And we can use those roots of wisdom to sort of have a little bit of support, maybe in your physical practice, maybe in your life. Finding total stillness now as we stand here. My hands have landed over my heart center. Maybe yours have landed somewhere else or not at all. Feeling that flow of energy, inhaling in through the nose. I like to exhale, sigh out through the mouth to start. Let's gently let those hands start to arrive down beside us. Big inhale, roll those shoulders up to your ears. And exhale it down. Let's do that again. Inhale, big roll up. Let's keep going with that. I'm going to chat housekeeping. So the way that I like to structure class is really more of a blueprint for your practice. Ultimately, it's your body, your practice, your choice. So there may be things that look or feel a certain way in my body that do not look and feel that way in yours. And that is because we are all unique and wonderful. Inhaling those shoulders up to our earlobes. And so knowing that with our class being a blueprinted guide, if there's something else your body is asking for that I haven't quite gotten to in for cueing or maybe haven't thought of, please feel free to go there for yourself. 1 more time, it truly is your practice. And back, let's go the other way as we inhale, shoulders squeeze back to snuggle the spine. They lift up towards the ears and draw down. So just sort of warming up those parts of our shoulders that like to be really involved, especially through your levator scap, your upper trapezius. Those are muscles that connect the upper part of your shoulder joint in towards your cervical spine. And they can get a little bit overexcited. Yeah, I'm sure we've all had those knots. So just giving them a chance to warm up. Let's inhale those arms, reach up overhead. As we breathe out, bring those arms down. Let's do that again. Inhale, big collection up. Exhale it down. One more time. Inhale, big collection up. Exhale, the arms come down. Let's walk those feet really, really nice and wide. And if you're feeling like you'd like to right out of the gate start with a little bit of spice today, we're going to bend into those knees. So coming down into a nice goddess pose. I was about to go goddess. Goddess pose here. Again, let's reach those arms up overhead. As you exhale now, maybe your torso comes down. As we inhale, collect your energy up. Exhaling to bring it down. 2 more times. Inhale up to reach. Exhaling to lower. 1 more time. Inhale, collect it up. Stay with the arms out. Exhale, maybe sit a little bit lower. So feeling and knowing, right, that we have a lot of work happening through our legs here. So creating a little bit of heat and fire. Arms can reach up. Can we collect the right wrist with the left hand? Lift up even higher. Draw that rib cage up off of your waist. And let's take a side bend over to the left. Still holding those legs in their nice deep bend here. Hugging those heels in towards each other. Opening those thighs out. Taking a breath in. As we breathe out, coming back to up overhead. Inhale, collect left wrist with right hand. Reaching up even higher again. Lifting the rib cage off of the waist. Taking the side bend to the other side. Feeling low in the legs, hugging the heels in, opening those thighs out. Coming up nice and tall, can we start to send our weight over to our left side as we inhale, collect the energy underneath. And exhale, coming back to 2 legs. As we inhale, bending down, shifting your weight so you start to straighten through the left leg, bend through the right knee. Exhale to come back up. Inhaling down, straightening the right leg, bending to the left. Bringing yourself up. 1 more time. Inhaling over to the right. Exhaling. Let's stand up nice and tall. Let's start to turn those feet towards the left side of your mat, so towards that left top side. We're going to pivot all the way around until we're up in a really high lunge with that back foot. So right back foot is lifted up. Toes are connected. Heel is lifted. Left thigh, the quads are zipping up. We're squaring off through those hips and start to send the hips back. Keeping the tail as long as possible. Now, maybe this requires a little bend in the knee to get there. And if it feels reasonable to bring your body down, feel free to do so. If you feel like you need some blocks here or block substitutes, cans of soup work really well. What else have I used? Books, if you have like a nice sturdy textbook. So the aim of the game here is to lengthen out through that tail and then maybe forward fold with the body, but not at the expense of curling through our low back. So if we need that bend of the knee to keep lengthening out through that tail, let's go for it. Inhale to lengthen your torso out long if it goes there. Exhaling to ripple forward if it goes there. Inhaling to lengthen it out. And exhaling it down. Inhaling it out. Exhaling to ripple. 1 more time. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to ripple. Let's lengthen ourselves up. Let's get really heavy onto that left foot. The right leg is going to drag itself in. We're going to sit down onto that right hip. Maybe your right leg wants to swing forward here. Yeah, because we're just sort of warming up together. Now, this is where it might be nice to have a towel handy. You can maybe slide it underneath your bum. Right leg can go up nice and long. Left leg is just tucked in beside you. Inhale, let's reach those arms up nice and tall. As we exhale, collect the left knee with the right arm, twisting your torso to the left. Left hand behind the left hip. Big twisty twist here. Not sort of letting the energy in the right leg settle. Keep reaching it out and away. Goal here to sit up nice and tall. And if being down to the ground doesn't feel like it's working for your body, bring the ground up to you. Inhaling here. And exhaling here. Inhaling to get tall. Exhale to turn your spine around to the left. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale it out. We're going to turn ourselves out to center. Now bear with me. That left foot is super connected into the floor. Start to take your torso around to the right. Plant the right hand down on the floor. Turn your torso over. So your right hip is down. You're facing back to that front edge of your mat. Left foot is on the floor. Now in this seated position already feels like a lot in your body. You're welcome to stay. If you'd like to press up and take a side plank moment, you're welcome to do that as well. Taking your breath in. Taking your breath out. It's going to get twisty. Breathing in. Breathing out. Keep lifting those hips up. Or if you're hanging out down here, feel free to hang out down there. 2 more. Breathing in. Breathing it out. Looking down towards that right hand. We're going to keep spinning. We're going to bring our left hand down to the floor. So, my mat flipped. So you're sort of passing through a plank. You shift the left leg back, drop the knees down. Ta-da, we're in a kneeling plank. Maybe you want to shift that blanket out of the way for now because we don't need it. Lengthening out through that spine, firing through those glutes. Feel the heels of the hands hugging down, knees hugging forward, belly wide, glutes on. Take a breath in. As we breathe out, let's gently lower to the floor. Flip your toenails. Toenails press down to the mat. Inhale, upper body lifts up. Exhaling to melt it down. Slide your lovely self back. Maybe find yourself in a child's pose. And if you feel like you're ready for a downward dog, feeling free to lift your hips up and back. Maybe bending through those knees. Now, downward dog is definitely not a resting place. It's a home base check-in. Pushing those hands through the floor, zipping into that rib cage, lengthening out through the tail, and maybe you feel happiest on a hands and knees, going for more of a cat-cow, yeah? So please feel free to live where feels best for you. We're going to draw that right knee into your chest, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Place the right foot down in between the hands. Now, sneaky, sneaky, walk your hands towards that middle left side of your mat. Turn your toes out. Bend through your knees. Ta-da! We're back in that goddess pose. Ha-ha! We made it here. So feeling those thighs turning out, hugging the heels in. Isn't it fun when we sort of like get to travel around our mat a little bit? It doesn't stay quite so static. Inhale, the arms come up overhead. Can we breathe out? Collect the left wrist with the right hand up and over side bend to the right. Keep feeling those legs hugging in. Maybe sit a little bit lower. Bring yourself upright. Inhale to get a bit taller. Collect right wrist with left hand. Up and over side bend to the left. Taking your breath in, taking your breath out. Come all the way up in space. Start to straighten through those legs, hands to hips. Now we're going to start to pivot back the way we just came from. So around to the right. So you're facing the opposite short edge to where we started. Coming up high on the back left foot. So the toes are down, but the heel is up. Super duper straight through that right leg to start. Just to start if you can. Hands on your hip bones facing forward. Starting to pitch that pelvis. And this is where we check in, right? If we start to move and the bum starts to really curl underneath us, then we want to consider bending that right knee a little bit more to take that forward fold. Once you're here, then maybe it feels reasonable to explore a bit of an extension through the right leg. But if you notice on my torso, there's no way. I need to keep a bend in the knee right now. And then we can melt it down. If you'd like to add a little exploration to this, inhale to lengthen it up. Exhaling it down. Inhale to ripple. Staying nice and connected to that back thigh if we can. One more time, inhaling. And exhaling. When you're ready, inhale to lengthen out. We get heavy into the front foot, light into the back leg, so the back leg can curl in. And then let's spin it all the way around. I'm going to turn to face forward just so you can kind of see, yeah? So my back isn't completely to you. So the left leg is going to go out nice and long, but you're still facing towards that short edge of your mat, yeah? Maybe, again, this is where it feels nice to collect your blanket or towel or whatever you have to slide it under for a bit of a boost just to bring that floor up a little bit higher to us. Can we inhale, reach those arms up nice and tall. Once you found your spot, start to turn your body to the right. Bring the right knee into that left elbow. Press the right hand behind your right hip. Ta-da! We're on that spiral second side. Breathing in to get nice and tall. Breathing out to zip into that belly. Rotate around. And when we say zip in, really it's just because we don't want to rotate by pushing our bellies out and like forcing our spine around. We want to feel like we have a bit of support through your spine. And we do that by recruiting our transversus abdominis, which is your deepest layer of core. Don't worry, there's no quiz at the end here. All information. Feeling the differences of the twists from side to side. One more breath in here. Breathing it out. Now I'm going to turn back to where I exist on my mat if I were to match you. So that left leg is out, that right foot is planted, yes? This time, your left hand comes down beside your left hip. We start to pivot ourselves around. So now everything is facing towards that long edge. Planting through your right foot, left toe, pinky side foot is on the floor, and maybe you feel super happy here, or maybe you want to go for that side plank, pressing into the right foot, lifting your hips up. Taking your breaths in, wiggle that foot forward a little bit, and taking your breaths out. Now again, there's no sort of finishing of energy here. We're pressing that arm into the floor, rolling the shoulder blade onto the back, zipping the rib cage in, lifting those hips up, reaching through those arms, super zippy through that left thigh, pressing into that right foot. Take one more breath in here, please. Breathing it out. Okie dokie. Let's lower our hip down just for a hot minute. We're going to keep walking around. Yes, so we're going to keep bringing that right hand around to the left. We're going to sneak ourselves back, maybe a little awkwardly, into your kneeling plank or into a full plank. Now we're going to hold this for a little moment to talk housekeeping, yeah? So pressing the hands into the floor, drawing the collarbones nice and wide, drawing the heels of the hands down towards your knees, hugging the knees up to heels of your hands, firing through those glutes, and then maybe the quads want to lift here. We're here, breathe it in. We're here, breathe it out. Knees down is going to give you a lot of support so that you maybe can find more abs here. And then when you lift the thighs, there's a little more challenge to maintain that support. Breathing in, she says with her whole body going shake, 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 shake. Breathe it in. Exhaling it out. Maybe you're moving into that ujjayi breath, exhaling through your nose. Inhale to lower through those knees. Exhale to lower your torso to the floor. Flip your toenails. Inhale, chest reaches up. Exhale to lower it down. Inhale, can you slide yourself back towards a child's pose, and then maybe it feels reasonable to reach up into your downward dog. Feeling those heels maybe hover, those knees maybe draw in, maybe bend. Now, if you notice, for me, it's really, really easy to sink into my low back here. So working super hard to feel like we're creating resistance. It's funny, when we look at sometimes downward dog shapes, we feel like, oh, that super bendy back is where we want to go. But it's actually, for our intentions, not. Breathing in. Breathing out. We're going to draw the left knee in towards the chest. Place the left foot down between the hands. Step the right foot forward to meet it. So we have 2 feet to that top edge of our mat. Inhale to lengthen out halfway. Exhale to melt it down. Press your feet through the floor, ripple, roll your spine all the way to stand up nice and tall. Hands can come down through heart center. Nice big breath in through the nose here, please, team. Exhaling it out. As we inhale, let's reach those arms up overhead. Exhaling to dive forward over those legs. Inhale to come up halfway. As we exhale, step back with the right leg. Right toes are going to turn out to about 2 o'clock. Left knee is going to be bent, and the feet are wide away from each other, like you're on train tracks. Inhale, let's reach those arms up. Exhale to get a little deeper into the shape. Inhaling here. And exhaling. So zipping into that belly, pressing both feet into the floor, hugging them towards each other. Nice zippy back leg, nice bendy front knee. Those arms are up overhead. Can you collect the right wrist with the left hand? Lengthen it up a little bit more. Take that delicious side bend over to the left. Breathing in here. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing it out. We're going to come back to center. We're going to start to lift up through those back toes. And then nice and calm, I'm going to wiggle that left foot a little more centered. We're just going to start to kind of kick up and pitch forward. And I shouldn't say kick because it's a little more floaty than that. Float the back leg up and then come back down. Let's do that again. Float that back leg up. Bring it down. One more time, can you float it up? It's okay if it's just sort of like a hovery place. Maybe start to think about stretching through that standing knee, flexing those right toes down to the floor for 2. For 1, we're gonna bend the left knee, pop the right foot into the floor, inhale to reach those arms up. As you breathe out, press your hands down. So if you'd like to take a flow here, you can flow, inhaling to be nice and long. As you breathe out, drawing your chest down to the floor. Now maybe your chest and right away lengthens out and up. Zippy quads. Exhale up and back, maybe into a downward dog. Take a breath in here, please. Take a breath out. Can you inhale? Draw your right knee forward, place your right foot to the floor. Left toes this time turn out to 10 o'clock. Feet are wide from each other. Reach those arms up. So super duper straight as best you can, back leg. Right knee is right over those right ankles, hugging those legs in. Arms reach up overhead. Breathing in and out. When you're ready, collecting that left wrist with that right hand, reach it up. Take a side bend over here. Breathing in, breathing out. Bringing yourself to upright. Inhale to get nice and tall. Exhale to bring it down to the floor. Maybe wiggle that right foot a little towards center. Bring that left foot in your back and you're standing forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale to melt to the floor. Press your feet down, ripple, roll your spine all the way up to standing. Right away, exhale, can we forward fold? Inhale, lengthen up halfway. As we exhale, lower down, step the left leg back this time. So going back to the last place we were, left toes point out to 10 o'clock, right toes are forward. Hug those legs together, reach the arms up overhead. Feeling drawn in with those legs, zipped up through that back thigh. Collecting your left wrist with your right hand again, inhale to lengthen up, exhale, side bend over. Noticing if those hips start to do funky things, can we keep the hips as level as possible as we reach up and over? Breathing in here. Breathing out. Feeling the support from the earth. Bringing ourselves upright. Walk that right foot just a little bit more centered. We start to do that little tippity tip. So forward with the torso, that left leg maybe reaches up. And then lower it down, take a little, that was super fun. Let's do it again. Bending through that right knee, lifting, that back leg up. Step it back, take a little break. 2 more. Maybe the arms want to reach with you as you lift here. Bringing it back. We're going to hold this next one. Lift it up and then pause. You don't have to be in a perfect warrior 3 here by any means. We're really just sort of challenging that standing bum cheek. Flexing those left toes to the floor, straightening through that left leg, and then maybe adding a straightening of that right thigh for 3. Hands can be where you need them. For 2, for 1, let's slowly bend the right knee, place the left toes to the floor, inhale to reach the arms up overhead. As we breathe out, planting those hands, step back with the right leg, find your plank. If you'd like to flow, reflow. If you'd like to take a break, take a break. Inhaling. As we exhale, lower to the floor. Maybe before your chest touches, you lengthen out, up into your extension, up and back, downward dog if you'd like to take it. Breath in through the nose here, please. Breath out. So in your downward dog should still feel like a plank. It's just sort of a different shape of a plank. Pushing that floor away, feeling wide across those collarbones, energy through those arms, drawing the rib cage in, lengthening through the spine. When you're ready, as we inhale, we're going to pull the left foot and place the left foot between the hands. Step the right toes out to face to 2 o'clock. Opening those legs a little bit wider of each other, more train tracky than tightrope, up overhead. Inhale to grow tall, collect the right wrist with the left hand, side bend to the left. Breathe it in here. Breathe it out. Coming up to center, pitch our torsos forward. Take that right leg, step that right leg forward. So we've got 2 bendy legs here. Inhale to take it up over into your nice long flat spine. Exhaling to melt to the floor. Press your feet down, ripple, roll your spine as we bring ourselves all the way up. Exhale, hands down to your heart center. Take a breath in here, please. And exhale it out. All right, standing on that left foot. Really getting nice and supportive there. Let's bring our right leg in towards our chest. And we're just going to sort of circle that right hip around in space as we're standing. Grateful to be super close to a wall for any extra support. Let's take that hip the other way. And if you're feeling hip flexory here, of course you are. Our hip flexors have to work. And then we're going to pause and bring that right ankle just down to snuggle in beside that left ankle. Without changing your hips, let's turn the right leg out, and then maybe it wants to place up somewhere on the left leg. Now, I like to keep mine a little bit lower because I just find that they get slippy. Take your breath in. Take your breath out. I'm going to turn and face you so we can balance here together. Maybe reaching those arms up overhead. Maybe opening them out. Maybe adding a little tree sway here. Breathing in. Arms open out to the side. Hands come to hips. Can we draw the right leg up as it is? Maybe draw that shin in towards you. Just pause here, feeling the work of that left leg down onto the floor. As parallel as we can through that leg. Now, maybe this feels fabulous. Maybe you'd like to take the right hand underneath the right leg and start to reach that right leg out. Maybe it's in your practice to connect your fingers, your two, what is that? The one next to your thumb, your kind of pointery finger, and then your finger next to that, and collect your big toe. Woo-hoo, the glutes on fire. Or maybe it's in your practice to lengthen it out. Adding an arm wherever you feel happiest. Breathing in here. Now it's going to get sneaky, okay? So wherever you are, stay there. 2 more breaths. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Now start to get really energized through the legs. Can you keep your right leg where it is? Can you take your hands away? So it's hovered, it's hovered, it's hovered. It's going to slowly start to sweep around behind you as now we find that warrior 3. Torso and back leg in line with each other. Take your breath in here, please. Take your breath out. Long through that spine, breathe it in. Fiery through that back leg, breathe it out. One more time. Breathe it in. As you breathe out super slowly, can you bend into your left knee? Start to pull the right leg in back behind you as we lower to the floor. Really nice job here. So you can bring those legs nice and stacked on top of each other. Ooh, tight through the glute today. Or if you're having a day where your legs are just not happy at all, you can again bring that right leg out nice and long. So we're sort of playing with that cow face pose. You can also come forward, open those legs wide, and then come back down. Already feels like a lot. And maybe it feels like a nice idea to collect your towel. And I've sort of shifted and shimmied on my mat so we can see each other here. Now, wherever your legs are, maybe it just feels happiest to have them more crisscrossed. Yeah, you definitely can play with where your shape is taking you here. I'm going to go for the breathing of the Cowface because, feel that in my hip. We're going to reach those arms out. Now, your left leg is the one that's on top. So your left arm is going to come underneath your right. Can collect opposite shoulders and give them a bit of a squeeze with your arms, or you can bring those arms all the way up so your forearms sort of connect to the backs of your hands, or if the range is there comfortably, you can connect the hands. I'm going to keep my backs. Actually, I'm going to go for shoulders because I just feel like that's what my shoulders want. We're going to try to draw those elbows forward, and now if you are up with your forearms, you want to push them away from you. If this feels like all the excitement you're looking for, feel free to stay. If you'd like to add on, you're just going to curl and squeeze, creating a bit of compression here. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Breathing in. One more time, breathe in. As you breathe out, let's lift the shape up wherever your arms are. Unwind your arms. Bring your hands down towards the right hip. That left leg is going to swing around, and we're going to come into sort of like a 90-90 shape just for a moment here. So, moving out so you can see me. Back leg has come out so that your hip is in line with your knee is in line with your ankle in a 90-degree angle. Same thing with your front leg. And we're just going to take a very gentle twist here. So left hand is going to come to the outside of the left knee, right hand overhead. And maybe your shape looks like this, in which case, super not a comfortable place, yeah? You're welcome to, again, stay cross-legged as you take your twist around, or build up loads of cushions underneath your tail. We're not going to be here terribly, terribly long, but I definitely don't want you to feel super squishy and cramped as you're here. Taking those breaths in, taking those breaths out. I'm going to make my way to facing on my mat so we are the same Z's. Enjoying that twist, breathing it in, breathing it out. Start to bring your torso back towards center. We're going to start to walk our hands forward. Now, this is where it gets like really fancy dancy, yeah? So that back leg is going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle if it can. You come forward over that front leg, press into that foot to bring yourself up and back. Take your breath in here. And take your breath out. If you'd like to flow, you can flow, dropping through those knees, starting to draw your chest down. Inhale, lengthen up into that upward dog or baby cobra, up and back into a downward dog. If that's where you would like to be here today, take your breath in through your nose, please. Exhaling it out. 2 more, inhaling it in. Making this shape be everything and anything that you want it to be. 1 more time, inhaling it in. Exhaling it out. We're going to start to turn our gaze forward to our hands. Start to walk those feet up, tippy toes. Once you've made it as far as you can, adjust your hands and your feet towards each other. Inhale to lengthen up halfway. Exhaling to float it down. Press your feet through the floor, ripple, roll your spine all the way up. Lengthen those arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Give yourself a little moment as we do that all again on our second side. So I'm going to turn and face this way, and then I'm going to pivot back. We'll get there. So starting, actually, I'll face you because we're going to balance. So starting with your hands, maybe on your hips is kind of like a nice reminder of where they are. Rolling up to the toes of the left foot. Starting to turn the left leg out. And then without using your hands, maybe placing that left leg somewhere along your right leg. Your left foot along your right leg. Trying to avoid the experience of sitting into that right hip. Can we keep that right hip right underneath us? A few breaths to be here. Maybe those arms want to start to move and flow. Maybe reaching up, adding a gentle breeze if that feels reasonable. Whew. Oh, little wobbles. 1 more breath to be here. When you're ready, bringing yourself back to center, you're going to keep that leg turned out. Just draw that left knee in towards your left waist if you can. That might require 2 hands. It might require 1 hand. Just to feel that bit of supported compression. And then when you're ready, that left hand comes underneath the left thigh, if that feels the most reasonable. And maybe from there, there's an exploration of extending that left leg. Another layer to this would be to take, again, that finger next to your thumb and the one next to that. Bring them together, loop around your big toe, and sort of play with what needs to happen in your posture there to stay as upright as possible through the waist. And maybe there's an opportunity from there to lengthen out. Opposite arm can be everywhere and anywhere you need it to be. Maybe there's a door there for you. Whew. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Here's where I'm going to turn to face the other way on my mat so you can see the traveling of that leg. Breathing in and out. We have 1 more breath here, getting ready to super energize out through that leg. And then can you hold the leg where it is without arms? Super slowly sweep the leg around and back in space. Now we find that Warrior 3. Kicking that left leg back long through the spine here. Maybe there's arms overhead. 3 breaths here, please. Inhaling it in. Exhaling out. Inhaling in. Exhaling. Continue building that heat and fire. 1 more time. Inhaling in. As you breathe out, start to bend through that right leg. Start to pull your left leg back and in. And we've descended to the floor. Maybe there's another way in which you want to get here. Totally cool. Just sort of building our way down as we go. Options here, you might just want to simply sit cross-legged, which is totally fine. You might want to bring your left leg around so it's nice and straight, sort of how we did that first time. Or you might be interested in exploring Cowface, in which case I like to come forward, try to open those thighs out, and then kind of back down into it. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. Great opportunity if you're like me and a little bit tighter through the hips there today, sliding something underneath to lift you up. If you're feeling really, really crampy, please don't sit and suffer. Yeah, like adjust to a way that feels reasonable. Taking a few breaths just to sort of be here, energizing out through those feet, feeling maybe a bit of a softening through that top right hip, or maybe not at all. Maybe it's like, what in the world is happening here? When you're ready, let's take those arms out. So right leg is on top, which means your right arm's going to come underneath. Maybe your arms crisscross as they stack to collect opposite shoulders. Maybe you want to come up with your forearms so the back of the hands connect, or maybe your hands loop. And if they're looping, you're going to push them away from each other. I'm going to stay with hands on shoulders. Now, maybe this feels as reasonable as you'd like to get, which is fabulous. If you'd like to add a bit of compression here, you're going to round through your body and squeeze your elbows and knees towards. So you're not sitting into that knee joint. That would be really painful. Our elbows are bony. You want to scoop your belly in and away from the shape. So it's sort of like you're pulling the back tissues of your torso forward. Breathing into that back rib space here. Accessing maybe some space through those back rib tissues that we don't usually get. And you have a lot of tissues back there. One more time. Unraveling your spine, unraveling through those arms, taking your hands over towards that left hip. Your right leg is then maybe free to sweep itself around to that 90-90, and I'm still on my blanket here. So right hip to right knee to ankle, 90 degrees. Left hip to left knee to ankle, 90 degrees. We're going to squeeze those legs, and we're just going to counter rotate around to the left. And again, maybe this doesn't feel reasonable at all. Maybe you sort of want a two-knee position, yeah? So, or shape, anything that's going to allow you to rotate in a way that feels safe for your joints. Inhaling in and out. One more time, breathing in. Breathing it out. So we're going to start to walk those hands forward in space. And I'm going to turn on my mat so you can kind of see my clumsy magic in action. We're going to walk that back leg long. If it goes long, maybe press up into that leg to find ourselves out in our plank. Taking a breath in to get nice and long here, gently dropping through those knees as we breathe out, lowering to the floor. Inhale to lengthen out and up into an extension. As you breathe out, can we all push back and find a child's? Inhaling to be here. Exhaling. Now, if being in a child's pose like this doesn't feel great, feel free to flip onto your back if you'd like to. Maybe you want to sit up straight and tall or lean forward. That's fine. Totally fine. If your upper body is folded forward, can you walk your hands over to the right? If your back body is on the floor, you're going to roll your hips, your legs over to the right. Gently breathing in and out here. Walking those hands through center over to the left. Feel the right hip draw back. So if you're torso forward, your hands are going to the left. If you're resting on your back, taking those legs to that opposite side. Breathing in here. Breathing out. Bringing your hands to center. Gently walking yourself all the way up to seated. Give those shoulders a nice roll around. When you're ready, bringing ourselves so that our tails are on the floor, our legs are nice and long. Maybe reaching those legs out long, reaching those arms forward, scooping through your belly, starting to roll yourself to the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Taking a nice big breath in, maybe reaching those arms back overhead when you get there. Exhaling it out. Start to walk the feet onto the mat, maybe drawing the knees in towards your chest. Maybe you'd like a little cuddle across that low back. When you're ready, gently starting to bend through the knees. So you're welcome to connect onto the backs of those thighs again to draw into a bit of compression here into a child's pose. Maybe your shape looks like holding onto ankles. Maybe your shape looks like holding onto pinky toe edge side of your foot. Just drawing those thighs down to the floor. Taking those inhales and exhales. Breathing in. Breathing out. When you're ready, gently releasing through that shape. Starting to get ready for the restorative portion of our practice. The very first thing I like to do as we move into that is lie a blanket down on my mat to sort of change the texture. So as we're setting up and as I will walk us through where our restorative shape is taking us today, if you would like to do any other sort of movements that feels like it's going to be very helpful to resting in your practice, please feel free to do that. So the very first thing I like to do is to take my blanket. I like to lengthen it out and bring it down. It's just like a cozier surface to be resting on. We're going for a very simple supported back bend here. Not back bend, I shouldn't say that. Supported leg support. I don't know why I said back bend. Sometimes I just say words. Another teacher who I really super love says that when she's teaching. Sometimes I just say words. And we do. So our leg shape is going to look like sort of like a very calm butterfly. So I'm very fortunate. This is a literal cushion from my couch that it sort of covers the whole support that I need here for my legs. Another way you could do this, if you don't have a cushion that supports the whole shape of your legs, is to sort of scoop a pillow or a blanket, roll it up like a sausage and pop it underneath your knees. And then we're going to sort of build it out. So you have support for your ankle. Ooh, this feels so good. So it tucks under, it sort of mimics the shape. Yeah, it's underneath my thigh and then down, and it's supporting my ankles. Super important. We don't want to let those ankles just be by themselves. Yeah. So a few different ways in which you can get into this. I kind of love this. I think no, I'm not. I'm going to come back to this guy. So whatever way you can get the most out of that diamond support. I'm going to bring this bigger one back in. And then connecting and figuring out the kind of height you need for the back of your neck and your head. I like to use 2 supports for this. So you can fold and stack blankets or use 2 pillows. And so that base pillow is going to come all the way down to the backs of my shoulders. So notice it's not up just to my head. It supports my shoulders as well. And that second one will be a little bit more for base of the neck upwards. So they're just a little staggered. I'm going to go for a little test run to see and make sure. Ooh. Oh, I love a good restorative sash. Like that. Very simple. Lots of room to customize, and please feel free to customize. With your head shape, we're looking to feel like our forehead is being tipped forward. Not so much that you're squishing your neck, but definitely not flinged back, yeah? That your forehead can very slightly tip forward. And if you have leftover cushions and blankets and you'd like to add a little more customization, you can bring them down so that your arms have something to rest into. If you have a very bendy head support, I like to sort of tuck it in and around myself. Really nice and cozy here. That's the good stuff. I'm going to stay like this for a few more minutes just so you can kind of see. I'll move this guy out of the way. You can kind of see what we've done here. Calming down through the breath. Letting the full body really be nice and heavy. If you'd like to place something over your eyes to block out any light, you're more than welcome to. And you'll notice that we practice together in this format in silence, which can maybe feel a bit scary sometimes. But it's really a treat for the body, an opportunity to turn off all of our searching signals and just be restful. As you're starting to settle into your shape, coming back into your breath, inhaling in through the nose, exhaling it out, breathing in, and softening it out. Letting the eyes be heavy, letting the head be heavy, letting the jaw be soft. Letting the back of the chest draw down, allowing the arms to be weighted. Allowing the rib cage to expand and soften freely. Allowing the belly to rise and fall organically without force. Letting the pelvic bowl be perfectly balanced in tension. Not squeezing, not relaxed, but settled. Letting the hips organically allow the thigh bone to open out. And as we've traveled down from head to feet, can we start at our feet, and as if you were drawing a milkshake up a straw, can we feel like we are filling our body up with whatever it is you might feel like you need? Maybe a bit of kindness. Maybe you like to imagine a light. I sort of like to imagine like I'm filling my body up with a pale golden glow from the inside, and letting it fill you up from toe to head and then radiate and create this cocoon around you. Continue using your breath to sink deeper here. Now I am going to bring myself upright to play some chimes and read a passage from a book for you. And then it'll be my intention to close our practice together. But that by no means means your practice has to end. So please feel free to be in your most supported shape for as long as feels good for you. There is a passage here I'd like to share with you from the book Trickster Drift by Eden Robinson. It's a Canadian Indigenous fiction. I highly recommend it. It's really good. You are far from simple. You are a little universe. You are the wet and pulsing distillation of stars, a house of light made bipedal and carbon-based, temporary and infinite. You are also the void. Cartographers used to write on maps, "Here be dragons," when they reached places beyond their known world. When humans touch the void, they say, "Here is magic." If you are super happy where you are, please feel free to stay there. If you would like to close practice together again, start to add a little bit of a deepening of breath, an expansion of your rib cage, maybe a reach of some arms, maybe a wiggle of the nose. When you're ready, maybe looking to bend the knees, planting the feet on the floor. Working your way to coming onto your right side, taking a gentle pause. When you're ready, maybe eyes remained closed, maybe they remained dimmed down, bringing your way up to whatever version of seated feels best for you. Could be cross-legged, could be kneeling. Allowing the hands to settle anywhere on the body that feels reasonable. Noticing that hum and flow of your breath through your body. And knowing that most of our day, we won't even notice it. This rhythm that keeps us alive and that works even when we forget about it. And how amazing is that to know that we have this vital system that has our back, just works. And just appreciating that. When you're ready, bringing your hands back onto your heart or heart center, maybe to a prayer if that feels most reasonable for you, and gently bowing in. It is such a pleasure and such a gift that I get to be here to guide your practice. Thank you so much for allowing me into your day, and I hope it has a fabulous rest of it, wherever it's taking you. I hope we can meet again soon, and until that time, thank you, thank you, thank you.